He took a deep breath and opened his eyes. The soldier was holding the gun with only one hand. He was not aiming it, he was using it to lift Sylvia's chin so he could get a better look at his face. "Over there," the soldier said. He moved the gun and pointed it toward the group of women and children. You are not a man yet. Don't be in such a hurry." He laughed and clapped Sylvia on the shoulder. Sylvia screamed over to the woman said. The next morning the rebel moved on from the camp. The village men were forced to carry sabres, guns and mortar shells, radio equipment. Sylvia watched as one man protected the head did not want to go with the rebels. A soldier hit him in the face right the better of a gun. The man fell to the ground building. After that, no one objected. The men shouldered the heavy equipment and left the camp. Everyone else began walking again. They went in the opposite direction from her rebels. From wherever the rebels went, there was sure to be fighting. Sylvia stayed with the group from Lawan. Eric, it was smaller now, without the men, and except for the infant, Sylvia was the only child. The evening they found a barn and watched to spend the night. Sylvia tossed the resolution in the itchy high. Where are we going? Where is my family? When will I see them again? It took him a long time to fall asleep. Even before he lay very still. Even before was fully awake, Sylvia could feel that something was wrong. He lay very still with his eyes closed, trying to sense what it might be. Finally he sat up and opened his eyes. On one else was in the barn. Sylvia stood so quickly that for a moment he felt dizzy. He rushed to the door and looked out. Nobody, nothing. They had left him. He was alone. The terrace were hot as Sylvia's eyes. Where had everyone gone? Why had they left without waking him? He knew the answer because he was a child who might tire easily and slow them down and complain about being hungry and cause trouble somehow. I would not have been any trouble. I would not have complained. What will I do now? Sylvia took a few steps to see what he could see on the far horizon. The sky was hazy from the smoke of the bomb. About 100 paces in front of him, he could see a small pond. Between the pond and the barn was a house, and yes, a woman sitting in the sun, holding his breath. He crept close until he could see her face clearer and the ritual scar pattern on her forehead were family. They were ink patterns, which meant that she was from the same tribe as Sylvia. Sylvia let out his brother in relief. He was glad that she was not rude, nor the Noor and the Jinka had a long history of trouble. No one, it seemed, was sure where near land ended and Jinka land began. So each trouble tried to like lamp, too generous, rich in water. Over the years there had been many battles, large and small, between Dinka and Nair. Many people, one put said, had been killed. His was not the son as the war that was going on one between the rebels and the government. The Dinka and the Nair had been fighting each other for 104 years. The woman looked up and saw him. Sylvia flinched at her glance. Would she be friendly to a stranger? Would she be angry with him for spending the night in her barn? But at least he was not alone now, and then knowledge was stronger than the anxiety about what the woman might do or say to him. He walked toward her. "Good morning, Annette," he said, his voice trembling. She nodded at him. She was old, much older than Sylvia's mother. He kept quiet, waiting for her to speak. "You must be hungry," she said. At least she stood and went into the house. A few moments later she came back out and gave him 2 handfuls of raw peanuts. Then she sat down again. "Thank you, Auntie." uh, Squatting on his haunch next to her, Sylvia sheltered the ant and at them. He shoved every notch into a paste before he swallowed, trying to make each one last as long as he could. The woman sat without speaking until he was finished. Then she asked, "Where are you people?" Sylvia opened his mouth to speak, but his eyes filled with tears again, and he could not answer. She frowned. "Are you an orphan?" He shook his head quickly. For a moment he laughed, almost angry. He was not an orphan. He had a father and a mother. He had a family. "I was at school. I ran away from the fighting. I do not know where my family is." She nodded. "A bad thing. This where? What are you going to do? How will you find them?" Sylvia had no answer. He had hoped that a woman might have some answer for him. After all, she was an adult in study. She had only questioned. Everything was upside down. Sylvia stayed, and the woman burned again the night. He began to make a plan. "Maybe I can stay here until the fighting stops. Then I will go back to my village and find my family." He worked ahead, so she would not send him away for 3 days. Defeated firewood from the bush and water from the pond, but the pond was drying up each day. It was harder to file the ground. During the drying, Sylvia could hear the distant booming of early whirling from the fighting a few miles away. With every shell that exploded, he would think of his family, hoping they were safe, wondering desperately when he would be with them again. On the fourth day, the old woman told him that she was leaving. "You have seen that the bond is only a bottle now. Winter is coming, and the dry season and the fighting." She nodded her head in the direction of the noise. "I will go to a different village near water. You cannot stay with me any longer."